Did you say? Well, so do you know who we are? We're the Public Integrity Unit. We investigate officer-involved shootings. So we're here just to try to find out what happened. Because we take our stuff to Commonwealth attorneys, so we need to find out all the information that we can. And so you were asking about your parents earlier. I talked to you about your dad. Are you close with your dad? Yeah. I know does he still coach at Atherton?
He coaches at Shawnee, yeah. Well,
okay.
He's not even coaching right now. He's about to start coaching somewhere else.
I know Atherton hated losing him.
He hated losing Atherton.
Yeah. And Sergeant Tennell actually spoke to your parents.
I did. So, we told him basically everything we know at this point, which is, pretty much in the early stages of investigation, right? And we told him that, you were going to come back here and things like that. And I was actually with a guy that knew your father from Atherton football. And I spoke to them for a couple minutes and just kind of told them as much as we knew at that point. And that was about it. I mean, we left, with a good conversation. And Kenny, kind of same thing, right? I mean, we're going to tell you everything we know, okay? And like, Manny was telling you, this is like the internal affairs unit, right? So we're just kind of figuring stuff out at this point. And, you've got a pretty good perspective, and, we'd always like to hear that, if that'd be all right with you.
Before we get started, I just need to go over, I need to read this rights waiver to you and have you sign it. We'll just read over it, and then we can just start chatting and kind of tell me what was going on. This is Amanda Seeley, Louisville Metro Police Department Public Integrity Unit. Also with me is Sergeant Chad Tennell, PIU Office 3672 Taylor Boulevard. Today's date is March 13th, 2020. Thursday, current time is 03:53. I am here with, is it your name? Is it Kenny or Kenneth? Kenneth. And middle initial?
I don't have one. I'm the third.
Okay. So Walker?
Yes, ma'am.
The third. Okay. What is your date of birth?
6/10/92.
6/10/92. Okay. Your social? Okay. Do you have a home phone or a cell phone? Is that a cell? Okay. Thank you. Where do you currently reside? Is that an apartment?
Yes.
Apartment number? Okay. Is that?
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're here about an incident that occurred at 3007 Springfield.
3003.
3007. Or is it 3003? I'm sorry. 3003 Springfield Drive. Whose apartment is that to you?
My girlfriend.
Girlfriend? What is her name?
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor? What'd you say?
I'm scared. I don't know what to say.
We're just trying to find out what happened.
I don't even know what happened. Oh, why?
Do you hang out at your girlfriend's house a lot?
Yeah. Just when she's off work and stuff.
So had you been over there all day?
I had a good day today.
You had a good day?
Took a friend to run some errands. Went to go eat at Texas Roadhouse. Came back home, was chilling, watching a movie.
It's just you and her? So anybody else live there?
And her little sister, but she's in California. We're visiting a friend right now.
Oh, okay. What movie were y'all watching?
Freedom Riders.
Any good?
Actually was.
Was it? I feel like I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it
movie.
before. Oh, is it?
Oh, movie. Teacher helping out kids and stuff. It's a good movie.
I'll check that out. I feel like I've heard about it. So did y'all finish watching the movie?
No. Went in bed. It's a loud knock at the door. We both jumped up. Actually, she had fell asleep on the booze.
Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. I need to finish this paper real quick. I'm so sorry. I got tied up in listening to you. So let me read these real quick and then we'll just go back to where you are. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer prior to any questioning or making of any statements and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you can't afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed by the court to represent you before questioning if you desire one. You may stop questioning or making the statements at any time by refusing to answer further or by requesting to consult with an attorney prior to continuing with questioning of the making of any statements. I just need you to sign this. It says, I have read the statement of my rights and I understand what my rights are. I'm willing to make a statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I'm doing. No promises or threats have been made to me and no pressure or coercion of any kind have been used against me.
It was promises and threats, though.
I'm sorry?
My officer told me I was going to jail for the rest of my life. You know, which one it was. And they said it was going to let the dog on me and all types of stuff just happened. You know, just in the bed.
Who was that? Do you know? Can you describe him to me?
Don't know. There's a lot going on.
No, I understand. I'm sorry. I
I've seen
just,
so many police.
I just don't like when people do that. Yeah.
They had the dog right there, right behind me, barking. I'm out there with no shoes on, clearly nothing, walking in water and stuff, backwards. And he's like, I'm going to let this dog on you, and you're going to jail for the rest of your life. And I'm like, clearly you can look at my record. I don't even get in trouble, unviolent or anything, so.
Yeah. Do you know if it was an officer in uniform?
Yeah, it was definitely an officer in uniform. It was the first one I came in contact with.
Well, they have like body cameras and stuff like that. Okay, and we have ways of doing that, stuff like that, and we'll watch the majority of the body camera.
And he asked me, were you hit by any bullets? I said no. He said that's unfortunate.
Okay. Yeah, that's not
Exact words.
Yeah, that's not appropriate then.
No. No. So can I have you be good to sign this, and then we can get your statement, and leave you alone. what happened. So the more we know, the more we can look into and see what happened. And thank you. I'm gonna put this up and I can just listen. So you're just laying in bed?
Watching the movie.
So you're in your room watching?
Both in the room. She had actually just dozed off, probably like 10 minutes before. So laying there, laying on her, watching the movie by myself. It was a loud bang at the door. Both of us are not decent. Can't even think of the word right now. You know, we're at home. In the bed, it's 12 at night. Our day is over. So it's a loud bang at the door. She pops up out of sleep. It scared her to death. Me too. Like, who is that? I was honestly thinking it was because we've been on and off together or whatever for like 7 years or whatever. So it was a guy that she was messing with or whatever throughout that time, you know. And he popped up over there once before while I was there like a couple months ago. So that's what I thought was going on. So it's a loud boom at the door. First thing she said was, "Who is it?" No response. So we like, what the heck? We both get up, start putting on clothes. Another knock at the door. She's like, "Who is it?" Loud at the top of her lungs. No response. So I'm like, what the heck? So then I grab my gun, which is legal. Like, I'm licensed to carry everything. I've never even fired my gun outside of a range. I'm scared to death. So she says, there's another knock at the door. She's yelling at the top of her lungs, and I am too at this point. Who is it? No answer, no response, no anything. So we like, what the heck? We both just see what I have on. Grab the nearest thing. These aren't even mine. These are hers. Like, so we both are just putting on something to go answer the door and see who's knocking at the door this late at night. So when we come out, when we get out of the bed or whatever, like walking towards the door, the door comes like off the hinges. So I just let off one shot. Like, I still can't see who it is or anything. So now the door's like flying open. I let off one shot, and then all of a sudden there's a whole lot of shots. And like, we both just dropped to the ground, and the gun like fell like right over there. And I like kicked it because I'm like scared to death. Like, now we're seeing lights and stuff. So it's looking like, okay, it's the police, and there's a lot of yelling and stuff. So there's just shooting, and like, we're both on the ground, and then when all the shots stop, I'm like panicking. She's right there on the ground, like bleeding, and yeah.
That's a lot. So was there any lights on in the living room or the hallway? Was everything off because you guys had gone to bed?
Everything was off except the light in the room where we were. And actually that light was off at that point. Like, we were done. We was just, the movie was watching us more than we were watching it. And when it's a long hallway, and as you can see, like, so, like, all you can hear is a knock at the door. Even if somebody was saying something on the other side, you probably couldn't hear them. But as loud as we were screaming to say who it is, I know whoever would be on the other side of the door could hear us. So, that's it. Next thing I know, she's on the ground and the door's busted open, and I hear a bunch of yelling, and I'm just panicking, and I'm telling somebody, I'm yelling help, because she's right here bleeding, and nobody's coming, and I'm just confused and scared, and I feel the same right now. That's it.
So you said you grabbed your gun. Do you have a CCDW?
Yeah.
What kind of gun do you have?
It's just a 9mm.
What's it look like? Color?
It's silver and it's black. It's a Glock 9.
So you said you grabbed it.
Just because we're scared at this point, like it's loud boom, it's late night, and we're asking who's at the door. Nobody's saying anything, and then you keep knocking, and then you're not saying anything. So I'm like, what's going on? Like I didn't expect. It scared me when the door like got kicked and stuff. So my only reaction was to do that. I'm trying to protect her. Like she didn't have a gun, so like.
Does she own a gun? So did both of you all step out of the bedroom? Were you in the hallway?
Yes. Like, didn't even get all the way down the hallway to the door before it got kicked. She literally got shot right at her doorway in the house. Like, we both literally stepped out of her doorway, and then they kicked down the door, and I left the shot. I'm in the hallway. We're next to each other.
Okay.
So then they just start shooting like 10 shots.
Where did you go then?
I just dropped on the ground, like, right next to her, but where I dropped on the ground, like, there's a room to the left when you come out of her room. So there's a wall, like, right here-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So when I just dropped on the ground, I, like, scooted over, but I'm trying to, like, I don't know if these shots, where they're going or stuff, you know, I'm scared. I've never even been that close to somebody shooting a gun, but unless it's in a controlled environment, such as at the range or something. So I'm, like, freaking out. I can't register anything that's going on, so...
So you just fired off one?
Yeah, just one. That was just a warning. I don't know who's coming through this door. The door just got kicked off the hinges, so I'm scared. One shot, boom, and then there was a lot of shots, so I just dropped, like, I don't know.
And what did you do with your gun when you dropped?
I kicked it up under the bed. I told them other officers, because I didn't know what's going on at this point. Like, I'm just scared, and if they did, I'm thinking, like, somebody's going to, like, come in, because I'm now noticing it's the police now, because I hear them yelling and stuff after the door's already been kicked down, after I'm yelling for help, and she's right here on the ground. So I didn't want anybody to be, like, thinking I'm trying to be, you know, do something. If they come here, I just want her to get help at this point. Like, I don't even care what happened to me at that point. Like, she needed help. And all of that was for no reason. And nobody still said anything about what they were even doing at the door, because I know for a fact that couldn't have been coming for either one of us. Like, there would be no reason for that at all. And the other, I don't know who he was, but he came and told me there was some type of misunderstanding or something like that already.
An officer told you that?
Yeah. In the police car on the ride over here, we pulled over in a parking lot somewhere, and the guy came to my window and he was asking my name, and he was like, first thing I said to him was she alive? He was like, well, we'll talk about that when you get to where you're going. Lost it. And he was like, I just want to let you know right now that all of this was they had a misunderstanding or something like that. To me, it seemed like they realized that they were at the wrong place.
Okay. So this person in uniform?
No, he wasn't. He was driving like a silver SUV.
Okay. So you and Breonna haven't had any kind of interactions with police or anything lately?
No.
Does Breonna work?
Yeah.
Where does she work at?
She works at the hospital at right off the highway on Breckenridge Lane. Took on the health, what's U of L, Health now. And she also works at Jewish as a part-time job.
Okay. Where do you work at?
Well, I'm unemployed right now. I just lost my job on January 21st from Coca-Cola. I was working there for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I actually just got hired on at the post office in a place called Magna, making the seats for Ford.
You just got hired on?
At both of them, so looking like I'm not going to make it to those. It's crazy.
Kenny, Kenneth, what do you want to be called, buddy?
Doesn't matter. Kenneth is my name.
All right. I never had the luxury of like shortening my name. I always thought it was cool. It's Chad, so what are you gonna do with that? So, man, I just kind of just want to go back over it and kind of, fill in maybe some confusion that I had. So these like loud bangs at the door, and you all are yelling, who is it? Who is it? That kind of thing. How many? About how many loud bangs there was?
So at first it was doom, 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 doom.
Okay.
Like, what's that? So now we're getting up, putting on clothes.
Yeah, because y'all are in bed.
Yeah, so we're getting up, putting on clothes.
Naked, pretty much.
Yeah,
okay.
So when we get up, all right, I'll probably get my pants on.
Mm-hmm.
She probably gets some pants on, then it's another loud bang. Doom, 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 doom. She's like, who is it?
Right.
Like, loud as
Y'all
can
still
be.
in the bedroom?
Still in the bedroom.
Okay.
Because we're trying to get decent to go into the door.
Right.
Wherever it may be.
Is the bedroom that first bedroom on the left down the hallway, or is it on the right? I didn't make it all the way down there, but
it's all the way straight back.
Straight back?
You come in the door.
Right.
You just keep on walking straight, and you're going to end up into the apartments
Okay.
all the way down the hallway.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
So after that second loud bang,
Uh-huh.
where she's still yelling, who is it? Like I said, I grabbed the gun.
Sure.
So now we got enough clothes on. I still didn't make it to even put shoes on or anything. I don't have anything on. So,
Yeah, no, I see it, yeah.
So after I grabbed that, we start walking towards the door to go see who it is.
Sure.
Another loud bang. Well, not really. I don't even know if it's another loud bang, but the door is coming in. When we got to the doorway to go see who it is, the door is coming in.
The doorway, are you down the hall?
Wait, no, we never made it past the room.
You mean the bedroom doorway?
We never made it past the second bedroom in the home. That's on the left, and there's a bathroom that's on the right. If you're coming from the room, we never even made it like mid hallway.
Okay. So you never made it past the bathroom?
No. If you saw where her body was at, and I saw before I left, there was holes in the back wall, like of the hallway, so you could see exactly where we were at, like coming to the door.
Right.
But as we're coming to the door like comes off the hinges.
Okay.
Like, but you can't see anybody though. Like when the door comes off the hinges, it's happening fast. Like it was like an explosion.
Sure.
So boom, one shot. Then all of a sudden there's a whole lot of shots. We both dropped to the ground. But I just hear her screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you shoot towards the door or just like up in the air or like
towards the ground, really just a warning shot. So if it was somebody, like they would run off or something, you know what I'm saying? Just like somebody's at this point where somebody's breaking in the home. Like we don't.
Did you see anything when the door come off the hinges? Did you see anything at that point?
No, I couldn't see anybody. It was dark. There was no lights out there. So all we're hearing is these loud booms, and we're saying who is it, and nobody's saying who it is, and then the door gets kicked in.
Where were you at? Where was she at, and where were you at when that shot was fired?
So say she was right here.
Right.
And I was right here.
Is this the other bedroom door?
This is the other bedroom door right here, and that would be the bathroom, and she's standing right here.
And your all's bedroom was back there.
Yeah, we just came out of the room. She really came out first, but she was kind of like next to me, so I come out.
Sure.
And then the door gets kicked in, so I'm right. Here's the other room. She's right here, so it was one shot, boom. Down the door is flying open. There was a whole lot of shots, so we both dropped.
Right.
But when I drop, I'm right here closer to this room. She's dead in the middle of the hallway. Okay. So any shots coming in don't have any choice but to go right there.
So are you right-handed?
Yes.
So you shot with your right hand?
Yeah.
So did you shoot before the door flew open?
Yeah. It was all in like one motion. As it flew open, like boom, boom.
Right.
Like it was like simultaneous.
And it's kind of like that, like eye level boom.
Yeah, not really. I feel like I aimed down.
Aimed down a little bit.
Yeah, like, cause I wasn't of course, I don't need to kill anybody if, you know, if I could just get you out of here just by you hearing that. So.
And did you hear anything, any other words? I mean, was anything being said at all when the door flew open, or
no?
Didn't hear anything?
No, just the door coming open, and at that point they're shooting and she's screaming. Yeah. And I'm on the ground, my feet are kind of into the other room at this point, so when the shots are going off, I'm scooting, like, you know, and like I said, so when I let off the shot and I dropped to the ground, the gun dropped like right here, and as I'm on the ground, like I kicked it like that with my foot.
Into that other bedroom, underneath that bed there? Okay.
Yes.
Is that her sister's room?
That's her sister's room.
Okay.
And she's not here right now. She's in California, so thank God she wasn't here.
At what point did you realize they were the police?
When the door was open and she was on the ground, like, bleeding. So now I'm right there with her, and, like, I can hear, like a whole lot of chatter and stuff outside. But I'm hysterical, like, at this point. Like, I'm yelling somebody to come help her or whatever. And then after it's been, like, 5 minutes, like, I called my mom, and I told her that somebody just kicked in the door and shot Bree. So at that point, when I called my mom, I still didn't know it was the police. So I told her on the phone, somebody kicked the door. So I hung up. My mom's like, call 911 right now. Call 911 right now. So I called 911. Then I told them what happened. I'm still not knowing it's the police. Cause then I called Breonna's mama. I hung up on 911. I told him my name, and I told him what happened, and I told him where I was at. Then I hung up, and I was like, I gotta go. So I called her mom. I called Breonna's mom, and then I told her what just happened. And when I was on the phone with her, that's when I kind of realized that it was the police, because now they're yelling, like, come out, come out. And I'm on the phone with her. So while this is all, I'm still yelling help, because she's over here, like, coughing and, like, I'm just freaking out, but I'm on the phone with her mom now at this point. So they keep yelling, come out. So I'm like, okay, it's the police. So now I'm like, okay. So I'm coming out or whatever. I still on the phone with her mom. Before I stepped out, I yelled to them. I'm like, hey, I got my phone in my hand. Like, I'm unarmed. Like, you know, so I come out. And I, like, you know, I'm like this. They're like, put the phone down. So I put the phone on the ground. Then I'm just like this. And they're like, telling me to walk backwards to him or whatever. So I'm just start walking backwards, and they're like, there's something that was blocking me or whatever. They was telling me to move it out of the way, and, like, the dog is barking, and that's when I got close to the edge, and the dude was like, are you hit with any, did you get hit by any bullets? And I'm like, no. He said, oh, that's unfortunate. And then that's when they had the dog right there. I don't have on any shoes. I clearly have nothing in my hands, anything. I'm walking backwards, and he has this dog right here barking like 3 feet behind me, like the dog is going crazy. And he's like, if you don't, if you don't get down or something on your knee, I'm doing everything they're asking me to, slowly and surely. Like, I'm like scared to death. And I told him, like, I'm scared, like. And he was like, if you don't get down on your knees, I'm going to let the dog go. And I'm just like, please don't let the dog go. Like, so now I finally get down, and then they come and they put the cuffs on me and stuff, and then they're walking me away. And that was it. That was the end of everything.
Where did you put your phone down at?
Right in front of the front door.
Okay.
And her mom was still on the phone while this was happening.
What's your phone look like?
It's got a red cell phone case on it. It's an iPhone 11 Max Pro.
Does it have a passcode that locks it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the passcode? Did she have a phone?
Yeah.
Did she call anybody, like, when y'all first heard the banging?
No, I didn't. I called people after everything had happened, and nobody. What really made me not realize it was the police either, because nobody was, like, rushing in after all this happened. They all, like, stayed outside, so I'm like, what the heck was that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so now, because she was shot, that's what made me call my mom and call her mom, and let everybody know what just happened. Like,
So you called your mom, then 911,
Yeah.
and then her mom.
because my mom told me to call 911.
So do y'all have like patio doors in your apartment as well? Did you see anybody? I mean, did you come out of the hallway before
I
when you
never
started?
came out of down the hallway until I walked all the way outside with my phone. I never came all the way down the hallway. I
Okay.
didn't know what was going on. I was worried about her. She was on the ground, bleeding.
So were you walking out of the apartment backwards, or did you walk forward
I walked
until you got to the
forward
door?
until I got to the door, and I yelled out the door, "Hey, I have my phone in my hand, and I'm coming out." And when I came out, they told me to put the phone down, and they told me to face towards the other doors and walk backwards towards them.
Okay. Did you see anybody or anything at your patio doors or anything?
No.
And what were they yelling to you?
Just come out. They were just yelling, "Come out of the apartment."
And so once the door flew open, you never saw any bodies.
No.
I never heard anything.
No, after the door flew open, I guess they dispersed or something, which makes sense because I let off a shot. So I guess they just moved from right there. But I still, not knowing who it was or what just happened, everything happened in the blink of an eye. Literally, it was 5 to 10 seconds or less, and all of that happened.
Do you know any idea how many shots you heard after you fired yours?
10.
10?
It had to be at least 10. It was a lot of shots. I seen for sure on her when I was right there with her, I don't even know, 3 holes in her leg, then on the wall, right behind where she was, there was 4 holes on the wall. It was a lot of shots.
So you said when you guys were laying in bed, you grabbed your gun. You keep your gun next to you in bed, or?
Nah, it was just on the floor, I think, in the holster. Just there, because I carry it every day, and I got a holster, and it just goes on the inside, of my pants. So, at the end of the day or whatever, whenever I come in the house, whether it's her house, my house, whatever, I'm just going to set it somewhere. I don't have any kids or anything, and she don't either, so it really doesn't have to, get put up, per se, or anything. So...
Ken, I know you said you fired 1 round. Did she ever shoot at all?
No.
Did any more rounds ever get fired out of that gun? No, just one.
Just one.
Okay, 9mm Glock. Okay.
Do you keep a full mag?
Yeah, but that one might have been short, maybe 2 or 3. Only because the last time I went to the range, I used up all my bullets, so I only had that couple left, so I just had them in there just in case.
How many did you think you had in your magazine?
I can't really say, cause I just check it all the time,
right?
Because I don't expect to be using it. So as long as I have more than 2 or 3, that was fine with me, because it shouldn't take any more than that.
Right. Do you always keep one in the chamber?
No. No. When I got up, I put one in there, because nobody was saying who was at the door. I never keep one in the chamber, because once upon a time I got, not pulled over, but the police kind of pulled up on us. And this when I didn't even have a gun license yet. And, no, I did get pulled over, actually. And I had one in the chamber. And the police told me, he said, hey, for future rep, they took my gun or whatever, and they took out the clip and, ran my ID and stuff. But then they came back, and he was like, I never hand anybody guns back. So they threw the clip in my front seat, and they put the gun in my trunk. And he was like, for future reference, never keep one in the head, because that's a charge or something like that, like intent or something like that. So since then, I never even keep one in there. So.
Okay, interesting. And so you don't know
I don't know how true that was, but I mean, it made sense to me. So I'm like, I don't want any problems, so I just won't keep one in there.
And so you don't know how many you had in your clip?
I say maybe like 7 or 8. It only holds 10 plus 1, I think.
How long have you had the gun?
I say maybe like a year and a half, almost 2. Maybe.
You go to the range a lot?
No, I've only been to the range like 2 or 3 times. I only shot that gun in the range once, actually.
Do you have other guns?
Well, I did, but I only had one other one, the AR-15 pistol, like the smaller one, but I had to sell it because I was broke, so.
So you don't have that gun anymore? So is there any other guns in her apartment?
No.
So the sister doesn't have one that would be kept anywhere? And she's
only 20 years old. Yeah, so she definitely doesn't have any guns.
Okay. And then Breonna's never had a gun before?
No. I'm supposed to be getting her one. But she doesn't have any.
Okay.
Any type of specialty ammo or anything like that you carry? Is it just ball ammo, or do you carry hollow points or anything?
Yeah, just hollow points.
Okay.
I think that was called like Remington.
Okay.
A little green box.
It's a lot to process, Kenneth. I'm trying to make sure we ask you everything. And
is there anything that you can think of that we haven't asked that? So did you actually talk to a dispatcher when you called 911? Someone answered? And what'd you say to him?
I told him someone just kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend.
Did you give them the address?
Yeah. I told him my name, and I gave him the address, and I think that was it. I was panicking too at the time, so I started crying on the phone, noticing what was going on with her, and I just told him, I gotta go, I got a car, Mom, I gotta go.
So is there any sounds in the apartment that would be picked up, you think, that was going on at that point while he's on the phone with 911?
Maybe the TV, because the movie was still on.
But nothing from like outside in the hallway or the door, or
I don't think so.
no one yelling? What's your mom's name?
Felicia Walker.
And her mom?
My mom's mom?
No, I'm sorry. Sorry. Breonna's mom.
Tracy. Tamika. I can't think of her real name right now because I just call her CP, or I call her Bree's mom.
Oh. So you're thinking Tamika?
Tamika Palmer.
Okay. So you said that you and Breonna have been on and off for 7 years. So you said that she had messed around with somebody else before, or?
Yeah, well, it was really, she messed with him before me, but then we started to mess with each other, but then we wouldn't mess with each other, so she kind of messed with him again, and then just that sort of situation. But me and her always messed with. That was my best friend.
So have you guys known each other longer than 7 years, or?
I saw we met in like 2012 or 13. So when I say on and off for 7 years, really like the first 3 or 4 years of us knowing each other, like we weren't even together, like it was just my best friend.
Has she always lived in this apartment?
Well, first she lived with her mom when I first met her. Then when she moved into that apartment. It was her first apartment, so she probably moved there in like 2014 or 15 maybe.
Okay.
And she's been there ever since.
And then your apartment is over out at Iroquois Garden, which isn't too far.
I just moved there in July. So for the last 2 years before July, I lived there with Breonna at Springfield Drive.
Oh, you lived with...
Yeah.
Okay.
For the last two, maybe 3 years before I moved to my own apartment in July.
Okay, of 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Do you live there by yourself?
Yeah.
And do you all go and stay at your apartment too, sometime?
We do. We pretty much rotate. Because like I said, her sister lives there too. So if her sister was there right now, we probably would have like went over to my apartment. But my sister's out of town right now, so we're just at her apartment.
Do you have any kind of schedule where you are at her house a couple days, then at your house, or just what's going on?
Just depends on what we feel.
And you said you don't have any roommates? This is just a one-bedroom apartment?
Does she have anything over at your house?
Toothbrush.
A
flat iron under the sink.
Girl stuff? She don't have any clothes, or she keep anything over there?
Mail or anything like that?
No, probably not. She might have like a t-shirt or something over there.
She travel with her stuff? Like when she would come and stay at your place, she would bring a bag, or...
Well, it really just depends. 'Cause, I mean, she only lived right around the corner, so we didn't ever really like plan specifically to stay anywhere. We were just whatever we was feeling at the moment. And if she didn't have none, it really didn't matter because we were gonna get up in the morning and go right around the corner to her house or something. Or she'll get up and leave or whatever.
When was the last time she stayed at your apartment?
Maybe like a week ago. Yeah, maybe like a week or two ago. Her apartment's just better. My apartment's a bachelor pad, so
A little smaller?
not so much though.
Do either one of y'all have children? No? Do you all both have your own cars? Did you drive over there? Was your all's cars in the apartment complex parking lot, like right outside the door? What kind of car do you drive?
2014 Chrysler 300.
What about her?
She just got a new car too. She loved it.
What'd she get?
A 2019 Charger RT.
Nice.
Is the police officer that got hit okay?
I don't know. I don't know any specifics on that yet.
Yeah, let's take a break for a minute. I go to the bathroom. Kenneth, you need anything?
start it off with you order drinks for the store.
All right.
Drag the forklift. Just a month ago.
Pay pretty well? Man, I will find your daughter if I can. I'll see if we have any. All right. Give me a minute. Like up in the middle, get Mandy. We'll be right back, all right? Leave this in here. Time now is 05:14 hours.
How we doing? Did you think of anything while you've been sitting here that you think would be important?
Everything I told you, that's all that happened. It's so random.
So you had mentioned that you and Breonna have been on and off, for some time, and she'd messed around with some other people. You thought maybe that's who come to the door. Any idea who that was, or could have been? Who was the guy that she was messing around with before?
I don't know his name. I just know of him.
Did you ever talk about him? You don't know anything about him? Like, was he involved in anything that would link him to her, that would raise questions? And
Not necessarily.
so I wouldn't think you'd be a fan of this dude if he was messing with your girl.
Definitely not.
So you don't know if he was involved in narcotics or any kind of drug stuff, that maybe he kind of used her as use her place as like a scapegoat, or something that would get the police to go talk to her and not to him, and if she kind of did him wrong and he was mad, and so he would say, hey, this is the address, or, do you think?
Just changed the batteries. Time now is 05:19. It died on me halfway through. I'm sorry, go ahead. Breonna Banks, I think.
So,
you said.
Breonna? You said it was a cousin. I think she was at CO.
I think she currently works at the juvenile center, because like I said, I lost my job at the end of January, so she was actually telling me about a position open there, just working with kids. So I'm pretty sure that's what she does right now, just kids. She was saying it's like kids who, they don't stay there, they just transition through the place that she works or something like that.
Oh, okay. So you've never noticed Breonna having any kind of people coming in and out of the apartment, or?
Definitely not. She hates people, a lot of people coming over there and stuff.
Do you know if the dudes that she kind of messed around with when you guys were on your off that would come to the apartment? So you can't think of anything or anyone that would cause the police to be looking at her apartment?
No.
She's never talked about anything that she would maybe be caught up in or tied up in that would caused the police to come knocking at the door?
She's literally my best friend. Like, there's nothing we didn't talk about. And I talk to her every single day. So I would have, even if she didn't tell me, I would have caught on or noticed if there was something out of the ordinary going on.
When you guys would be on your off, would you guys still be in contact with each other?
Yes.
So you'd be not dating, and she'd be kind of dating somebody else, but you guys would still interact?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think that would be hard.
It was.
Especially if she's messing around with some other dudes.
But it was only like that because, like I told you, like when we first met, originally we was friends. So it was like no matter what, like we was always going to be friends. And like, no matter what I would be going through, she'd be there for me. No matter what she was going through, I was there for her. And it wasn't a whole lot of dudes. It was just one dude. Just one dude. I mean, she messed with him before she messed with me. So it's like it wasn't a random guy. Like.
And you don't know his name?
Don't know what he goes by or nothing like that.
She messed around with him more than once then during the time of your all 7 years? Well, if you guys talked a lot, I would think she'd mentioned his name or
I didn't like talking about it.
see his name on her phone. So when you guys would be on your off, would you kind of date around too?
But we would never like lie to each other. So, you know, whatever was going on was what was going on. But my phone was still in her name, and like I had mail going to her house, and yeah, like that was my best friend. Like so, just like aside of our relationship stuff, even when that wasn't right, like we were still friends, and we were still family. Like I still talk to her mom, her aunt, her sister, and all of them have like my cell phone number. I got theirs. Like I talk to them when I wasn't even talking to her sometimes.
Yeah, they never mentioned anything about this guy. Like, hey man, we don't like him. We're not, we don't want him. Because it seems like they liked you. If you were that close with them, even talking with them, even when you guys aren't, dating at that moment. But they didn't say that this guy's no good for her. He's in some shady
Mom used to
stuff.
say stuff like that, but I don't know anything about that dude, and that's because I didn't want to. Like, I don't know him. I don't need to know him. That's not my friend. That's not my associate or anything, so.
Her mom didn't like him. Maybe because she liked you so much.
I'm not sure. I never tried to get into it.
She was trying to push him out so you could keep staying in the front.
But I was going to stay there regardless. Like, so.
She's always by her side no matter what. But I would think if she was messing with somebody that wasn't any good for her, with you being that close to her and love her like you do.
Can't speak on no other guy, though. That's not cool. You gotta let her figure out he's no good on her own.
True. But sometimes
when you like somebody or something, no matter what somebody else says about him, you'll never not like him for yourself until you not like him for yourself.
that's an accurate statement.
So it wouldn't matter what I said or anything, because if that's what you want to do, it's what you're going to do until you feel like it's not what you want to do.
Yeah, sometimes it takes somebody on the outside, though, to...
It took me a long way to feel like that, though. It took me a long while. Like I said, we knew each other for years, so...
So her mom never mentioned a name, or... never crossed paths, you ever see him?
I seen him one time, like... Probably like 4 years ago, and then I told you, though, one day I was over, he popped up older, but I never, saw him face to face because he was, calling her phone and stuff. And we had, people over there, and then, she had just went outside in the parking lot and talked to him, but I stayed in the house, and she just came back. She was out there, 2 minutes, and then came back in the house.
So you never saw his name, she didn't have, a code name or anything on her phone that it would pop up, so...
There was actually no name, it was just a number.
Oh.
Yeah.
She She really kept him secret. Do you remember what he looks like? Black guy, white guy?
Black guy.
And so you don't know if he was from the area, local.
I really tried not to look too much into it, not to drive myself crazy. Because at the end of that, we had like understanding. So it's like
you don't think better than somebody else.
Until we decided how we're gonna be together, then whatever you do is whatever you do.
Okay, because the reason we're just trying to figure out what would be the reason for, police coming.
I'm telling you, they already told me they made a mistake, so I'm knowing that was the mistake. And then they kept on asking me, "What is there anybody else in there?" I'm like, "No, it's just her on the ground. Y'all shot her." And they kept asking me, "Is there a white male in there?" I'm like, "No, there's not a white male in there. There's never been a white male in there." So they must have been looking for a white male and knocked on the wrong door. That's my conclusion. I'm almost 100% sure that's what happened. And then when I told them that there was nobody but me and her in there, when after that dog was barking at me and stuff, and I'm getting on my knees and they're putting the handcuffs, I seen all their faces. I told them there was nobody in there but me and her, and everybody was looking around at each other like what? Like kind of like scratching their heads like, like, did we go to the wrong place? Like, I seen it on their faces. Like, there was no reason, like literally for the last 4 days in a row, she's been at work, working 12 hours a night for the last 4 days, and I've been over there playing my PlayStation.
At her apartment?
At her apartment for the last 4 days. And today was the first day that she was off. And she was actually debating on if she was going to go to work today at, last night at 11 o'clock if they needed somebody to come in, but they never called. So we went out to eat and we were over and chilling. She didn't end up going to work. Oh, she would have. It's literally no information I have about it. I don't have a clue why they were at the door. And I know if they were coming to talk to me or her, there would have been no reason for them to be so many of them. And there would have been no reason for them to be even thinking about kicking the door in. Like, I'm sure y'all can look at both of our records. She's never been in any type of trouble that I know of. Like, she's never even been to jail here. And I just went to jail here for the first time ever a couple months ago because I wrecked my car and got a DUI. And I'm still going to court right now for that, and it's probably going to get I don't know what, I'm going to miss court or whatever now, but other than that, I got locked up in Warren County in Bowling Green in like 2011. I stole a hat from the mall. It's the only other time I ever been in trouble besides the DUI, when they pulled me over or whatever, and they took my gun. And I went to court for that or whatever, and they were trying to get me carrying concealed deadly weapon, but my lawyer, like I said, I didn't have any charge or anything, so they said if I get a gun license, then they'll bump it down or whatever, so then it just turned to disorderly conduct, and I had a gun license, and they gave me my gun back. So
was you drinking and driving?
Well, yeah, but that's not with the gun situation, whatever. I was just drinking and, but I had drinks earlier, but I got in a wreck on Bardstown Road I think it was in like October, November, and I just wrecked my car. I hit another lady's car. Nobody got hurt or anything, but then I just went to jail for like a day or two, and I came out, and I've been going to court for it, but that's it.
So you and Breonna,
we literally don't do anything.
y'all do any kind of recreational drugs, anything on the side? You guys are chilling?
She doesn't do anything. Like, she drinks like a couple coolers or something like that. She doesn't smoke weed. She doesn't smoke tobacco. She doesn't anything. I smoke weed from time to time, and I smoke tobacco, but she doesn't do anything. but drink, and that's only maybe like once or twice a month because she works so much.
Mm-hmm.
So
you ever dipped into anything more than weed and got involved with some shady people that...
not at all. Not at all. And everybody I deal with, I've been knowing pretty much my whole life, from school and playing football when I was younger and stuff. I don't even deal with random people. And like you said, you know, my dad, so you know I didn't grow up in the hood or anything like that. So.
Gang have family members or anything they're involved in anything?
Me? No. My mother's, 90% of my mother's family is from Lexington. She has 9 brothers and sisters. Only 2 of them live in Louisville, and they're both older, of course, like 50 years or older. My cousins that live here, that's my mom's sister's kids. Both of them got like master, doctorate degrees. Graduated from UK, Ohio State. Yeah, like, so.
Your dad's side of the family pretty squared away?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's older on that side of the family. Like, everybody just works. That's it.
I know you said you smoke weed. I gotta ask, did you have any weed today?
Earlier today, before we went to Texas Row House.
So about what time was that?
About 6 o'clock.
Okay. Is it? I mean, do you normally smoke weed? Did that?
I used to smoke weed like a lot, but like I haven't been, because for one, I'm trying to get a job right now. The only reason I smoke today is because I just took my drug test for the post office and for the other job that I'm gonna get. I took both of them like yesterday.
Okay.
So I took them sometime this week. So I was done doing drug testing or whatever. So
how many times this week have you smoked weed?
Twice.
How many? What about like this month? How many times this month have you smoked weed?
Like 5 or less.
Okay. And is that pretty consistent? Like five or less times a month, or is it more?
Even when I was smoking like consistently, I smoked like 1 time a day.
And when was that? Like
when I got off work.
Okay. Like so
I go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I get off anywhere between 5 and 6. When I get home, I get in the shower, smoke, eat, play my game.
I got you. And like, when did that start and when did that end?
Smoking.
Yeah, like that, like after work.
Really, just whenever I felt like I didn't smoke weed until like 2012.
Okay.
Well, I went to WKU, so that's when I started smoking weed. I didn't even smoke like when I was in high school and stuff, because I played football, so I didn't have time to smoke.
I got you. So maybe like 5 times this, within a month period from now, and then what, like 15, 20 times prior to that a month?
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to make sure, you weren't like, high on weed right now.
Oh, no.
No. Are you any type of medication or anything like that in your system? Mm-hmm. Nothing like alcohol? Okay. I just want to make sure.
Well, I had a big margarita at Texas Row House, but like I said, it was at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then her friend was asking us to take her to drop her kids off. So after we left from there, and I was riding with her, she was driving today. So when we left from there, we took her friend, down Dixie and dropped one of her daughters off. Then we went downtown, to the east end and dropped the other daughter off. Then we took her friend back home and PRP off Terry Road. And then we came home, so we probably didn't get home till 9 o'clock.
Right.
After that, so by then I was long done feeling that margarita or the little blunt that I smoked before we went to go eat. So everything was pretty just normal. Like I said, we relaxed. We were relaxed in the bed. Literally the night was over. If nobody knocked on that door, we'd have been asleep. I would have been asleep. She was already asleep, and I would have been asleep within the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
she don't smoke with you at all?
no.
No.
No. tried to get into before, but
No. Not happening. Good for her.
good for her.
Man, and help me to kind of understand something, right? So I know you originally told, like, the officers or whatever, like, she shot the gun.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I was just scared. Like, I didn't want them to think that I was, like, on something where it's like when I first came out and stuff, I had no reason to say, 'cause like I said, my gun's legal and everything. Like, clearly I was scared. Like, I don't know. Like, nobody announced herself or anything. Like, clearly, like I said, me and her have no dealings with the police or whatever. So if I would have heard at the door, oh, it's the police, it changes the whole situation. Like, there's nothing for us to be scared of. Like, we were literally on the way to open the door. We could have opened the door and said, hey, like, what's the problem? What's going on?
Right.
You know, even if we were to, I would get detained or whatever for a second, I can talk to you. Like, I know I haven't done anything, and I know you have no reason to be looking for me. So there's no reason why I would be hostile at all. Only reason I even had the gun out because we didn't know who it was. So if we knew who it was, then that would have never happened.
Right.
Like, and the only reason I even said something about the ex-boyfriend or whatever, because it's like I said, neither one of us into anything. So I couldn't, for the life of me, imagine why anybody would be knocking on the door at this time. But it's just like, if it was going to be anything, it could be that. Because what else? Like, what other? I just don't. There's no possible scenario for anybody to be knocking on the door at that time of night, you know, and then for it to be that hard and that loud, and then you're not revealing who you are. That's weird. Like, you know, it's the middle of the night and somebody's beating on the door and not seeing who they are. Like, you know, what are you gonna do if you're home with your family and somebody's beating on your door and you don't know who it is after you've asked who it is?
Sure.
Like, I know y'all have guns at home. You're gonna grab it and be cautious. Like, okay, so what's going on? You're creeping towards the door. Like, who is it? Who is it? You know, and you don't know who it is, and then the door flies open. Like,
So y'all had the TV on, watching the movie and stuff. Was the TV loud?
and it was normal. I'd say it was on like 12 or something. Like, she don't like the TV that loud. Like, if I have the TV, she's like, turn it down. I think it gotta be so loud, you know. So it wasn't that loud.
Music on during this banging or anything like that? Were you all in the process of being intimate or anything during the banging? Were you just laying there in bed?
I tell you, she was asleep.
Yeah.
She had probably been asleep for like 10 minutes. I was actually kind of bitching at her because she wanted to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And she fell asleep.
Yeah, I hear you. Man, is there anything at your apartment or anything like that that would kind of help us in this investigation?
No. Like, I literally don't understand this at all.
Yeah.
I have no reason. Like, I don't understand at all why they would be knocking on her door unless it was a mistake. Like, at all. And I asked that out there a million times. Like, why were y'all even at the door? Nobody had an answer.
That's what we're here to figure out, man.
And I know it was a mistake because they kept saying, is there a white male in there? Like, who was hiding a white guy in there? Like, why? Like,
Has she ever messed around with a white guy before?
no,
Does she have any white guy friends?
no. Not ones besides the ones that work with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I talk to them on the phone and stuff while she's at work, but she's never seen them outside of work except for maybe like a coworker dinner when everybody was there, you know?
Mm-hmm. So you don't think she's ever messed around with someone that maybe she just never mentioned to you?
No.
I think that's all the questions I have. Think anything else? Okay.
Just trying to understand. Like you. Just want to know what brought them to the door.
I thought that guy who was talking to me was going to be here.
Yeah, I get it. I dropped the batteries.
All right, well,
I know it's what he seemed real apologetic.
who was that?
The guy here on plainclothes, he was an officer though. We pulled over on Manslick into a random parking lot. Another female cop came up, pulled next to us in the car. We're going this way, so we're facing this way. She's facing this way. He pulled right behind us. He told the lady who was driving the car I was in to roll down my window. And he asked me my name, and I think he might have asked me my social security number or something like that. And I asked him what she did. And he said, well, we'll discuss that in a second when we get down here. And I started crying. But in the midst of that, he was like, there's been a big misunderstanding here tonight. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, I think that's when I asked her what she did. And he was like, we'll talk about that in a second. I just started crying. He just walked away.
Okay.
But that was the first officer who, he seemed apologetic, like I said. He's like, oh, well, we're going to talk to him again. We'll get you this, get you that. And just like, I don't know, like he knew everything was a mistake or something like that.
Well, I knew there was some confusing, because we knew we wanted to talk with you, and I think we thought you were still on scene and that can come in here. So I don't know that that's what he meant, but because I wasn't there and I didn't say it, but I know there was some confusing because wanted to know where you were at. And we wanted you to come here. So you good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will conclude at.
Man, if you think of anything else you want to tell us, knock on that door. All right. Well, we're interviewing everybody. Police officers, anybody saw anything, stuff like that. So just give some time, okay? All right. All right. All right.